tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
United and it feels so good.
Oh, I think we're off. Hey guys, welcome back to AfterBuzz for the Mindy Project Season 3, Episode 6. We are so excited to be back. I'm even more excited to be with my beautiful ladies. I'm your host, April Whisenhant. Who do I have with me tonight?
Beyonce.
Alright,
I'm Sterling Cates.
And I'm Britney Spears, aka Sam Davidson.
I like that.
Thank you.
Pick another person.
No,
who are you gonna be?
I'm not cool enough.
No.
No.
I think Sterling is pretty cool.
I think so too. I don't have any.
I'm just kidding. You're cool
synonymous
enough.
with Beyonce.
Very good point.
I don't have any celeb lookalikes, so we'll just. I guess I have to stick with April.
Is that what we're doing? Lookalikes? Is that what this was?
Whoa, lookalikes. Wow, you think I look like Beyonce?
You do.
I look like Britney.
My butt definitely does not.
Y'all are so crazy. So I am so happy to finally be back after 2 weeks off. I was jonesing for some Danny and Mindy.
Yeah.
I don't know about y'all.
Jonesing for
And
sure.
I don't like baseball.
And you don't like baseball?
No, the World Series. That's why we've been on hiatus for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I think we have like a good solid, like we're
Run
keeping
here.
going
Run.
now, right? Okay, good, perfect.
When does the season end? Is it December or January?
They'll take a
I'm not
mid-season
sure.
break
Yeah.
in December, and then they'll probably come back in January. And
We
go
got some
through it.
ways to go.
Good.
But we didn't get a Halloween episode, just saying. Which
Maybe we'll get a really good Christmas one in.
we better.
Prediction.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Wasn't Shonda on the last episode we saw? So
Yeah.
that was kind of like a special occasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too. So tonight's episode, we got exactly what we wanted to see. A little more Danny and Mindy. What did y'all think of the episode as a whole?
I thought it was cute. I mean, there wasn't much meat to it. I mean, there's not much to discuss here other than she has a problem with being late.
Realistic.
Yeah, it's realistic.
I felt like
problems.
herself. I felt like that was me,
yeah.
because I'm always late.
Oh, for
I
sure.
mean, not even on purpose. I really, really try, but it's always something comes up last minute.
Are you one of those people that like sets your car for 10 minutes ahead?
My car?
You know, like
your
the time
clock
on
in
your
your
car.
I did that in high school. My car.
See, I did that back in the day, but I knew.
Yeah.
So I need somebody to go in there and do it for me, so
Yeah,
I
so
don't
you
know.
don't know.
And then
Exactly.
change my watch, my phone, my clocks, everything.
Because then you don't really know how many minutes you're behind
Exactly.
by. I'd be like, oh, I've got 10 minutes, but really I might have 8. You know?
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
we see Mindy do that to Danny tonight, but he's, you know, crazy and wakes up super early to go run, so she actually caught him anyway. But we'll get into that. Let's start off with Peter and this new little love interest, Abby. So we see Tamara and Morgan want to set him up. Tamara says she has a twin, a good friend, just like her. So amazing. So they show up. Peter shows up to this blind date, and it's this girl who is a cute girl. She's, you know, a smidge overweight. She's not the same size as Tamara, who's insanely small and, you know, model tall and everything.
Not even realistic.
Right.
Yeah.
And so she's clearly not African American, as Peter thought. He's like, I'm looking for an African American. But I thought, you know, Peter kind of went back to his old ways there. He was the typical Peter, like, oh no, you're not what I thought you were, so I have to leave. He kind of went back to his old jerk ways, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was right, but they should have not warned him, but not brought him into the situation thinking something. However, he probably wouldn't have gone.
Right.
But clearly he was very impressed by her dirty writing. She reminded me of, like, a young E.L. James, you know, the one that wrote
Right.
50 Shades of Grey. Like, she kind of even looked like her.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking, which is kind of funny. And he's into it. He digs it.
Yeah. Well, he was definitely expecting one thing. You can't send someone expecting one thing, especially she's complete opposite of what he was looking for, and then not getting that, and it's kind of that shock. But he came around at the end, so that was good for him.
Yeah, I feel like if it's gonna be a blind date, you need to just go into it blind. When people give you, setups like, oh, she looks like this, she's like this, you have expectations, and then your expectations get shattered, right? Yeah. So if you're gonna do a blind date, just send them out there and let them just go for it. Let the personalities lead.
Right. Have y'all seen those social experiments where they take people who have they match on Tinder, but the person's in on it, but they meet in person, and they're like either like they're larger than they are in their pictures, or they look completely different, or whatever, and they basically with a hidden camera film how people react and how they do the whole thing. It's actually pretty sad.
So like a new version of Catfish, kind of.
Yeah, but
not
it's just like a hidden camera series, like social experiment thing, to see this girl like put on a fat suit and like went out and went on all of her Tinder dates, and she kind of just waited to see who stuck around and who didn't.
Wow. Sounds like something really Oprah came up with.
No, Tyra, actually.
Oh, Tyra.
Yeah,
it does sound like Tyra.
I feel like it's been done a few times. It's not like, the craziest thing, but they do it. Guys have done it and girls have done it, and it's been equally kind of superficial with the responses. It's kind of crazy. You guys should watch it.
We are a superficial world.
Right.
Yeah. That's sad, but I think that the good thing about this episode is that, he gave her a second chance after he got to know that she's somebody of substance, and, he loved her book, and then he was like, damn, I was in the wrong. Yeah. So I like that about it.
She gave him a second chance, though, because honestly, at the end of the day, that was really crappy to have that happen to you.
For sure.
I mean, I don't think I would ever go out with him again.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think I would have given him a second chance.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised she did so easily.
I hope that, I don't know, he seems to kind of be going after her for the wrong reason. Like, he went to apologize to her because he ditched her on a date. Like, that is probably one of the worst things that can happen to you, boy relationship-wise. Yeah. And I feel like he only got interested whenever he's like, oh, she's a writer. She has all these people here to see her. So she's something. It's like, no, she could just be without all of that, like a normal good person. So I'm kind of still like about it, but yeah, I think she decided to give him a chance after she saw that, like, oh, he's funny, he actually has somewhat of a personality, not just like some jerk off the street when he wrote his little excerpt. I
definitely agree with that. Have you guys watched the show Married at First Sight?
No.
It kind of reminds me of this, where it's like there's a bunch of, counselors or whatever. They match you up based off, qualities that you guys have similar. But then you don't see the person until your wedding date.
Oh, my gosh.
So you show up, and
it's an arranged marriage,
It's basically an arranged marriage, but they actually do research and, like, personality traits and all of that. So you get married, and I think you start living together immediately for, I think it's like 90 days or something.
That is crazy.
And then after that 90 days, you can get an annulment, or you decide if you want to continue being married.
That's crazy.
It was a phenomenal show, but it also goes to show you how so many people are shallow, but when they do give it a chance, it turns into something real.
Yeah.
Here's my other question, though. Did he like her because she was successful, or was she naughty? Like, did he read the book? Do you think
a little of both?
I think that's what I was thinking, is that it's a little bit of both, but maybe it makes him more shallow.
I hate the word
it's
naughty.
The last one.
I'm sorry.
I don't even want to say it.
I need like a I don't know.
Like a really dirty book. Like, I think that was a turn on for him. Yeah. That's what the book was about.
They should have led with that. Like, I don't know why, Morgan and Tamara didn't.
Right.
Because that would have gotten him in for sure.
The whole twin thing threw me off. Like, well, what is twin like about
are
you guys?
Are we twins? No.
Well, I wish, but you are like a white version of me.
That's true. That's true.
I thought that was me.
But I props to them.
I'm sorry,
though.
you are.
I really liked this episode for Tamara. Because usually she kind of fades in the background for me. But she was very funny in this one.
And I was like,
she's hilarious.
She's pretty. I was like, she's really pretty. Which I've always noticed, but it's just, she's kind of in the background. So yeah, she's beautiful.
She is. I like it. Was there anything else with them? So they ended. They're going to go on another date. But
I hope she does something super weird to him.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to last very long. He's probably going to do something douchey to ruin it. And for your, your news and gossip.
I'm so excited for Okay, so, well, let's get into the meat of it. Danny, Mindy, obviously. So it starts off, you know, I literally, as this was happening in the show, I'm like, oh, I did this like yesterday. So it starts off, Danny's waiting at a movie theater for Mindy, and he's like, hey, where are you? She's like, I'm in the cab on the way. And you see her in her apartment still putting on lipstick. And he's like, where are you? We're so late. She's like, I'm almost there. I'm in the crowd. And she's still in the cab eating a slice of pizza. Yeah. And then she's like getting super frustrated, is about to leave. And that's when she taps him on the shoulder. She's like, hey, I've been here for so long. Where have you been? I've been looking for you. So they
You would be lying if you say you've never done that. I do that
Eman
so
move.
much.
Yeah.
Especially, I think women in general, just across the board. But
because you just think you're going to get there
too. Yeah, and I like don't completely. I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm in a cabin and I'm still like putting lipstick on. Maybe I've done that a few times. But I do a lot on the way. But I'm like maybe a minute away from walking out of my apartment. Yeah. You know, like I'm in the process. Right. So it's not a lie.
It's going to happen soon.
Yeah, it's happening, in the near future.
Yeah. But okay, so they end up not getting into the movie because they were way too late. There was only no tickets left or something like that. And so Danny gets frustrated, obviously, and he's like, you're always late. No matter what, you're always late. And she's like, just you love me. You should take the bad with the good, which is a good point. We should all take the bad with the good. But I can feel this like brewing into something else for sure. So they have a date at a comedy club. She gets there and she's like, hey, where are you? He's like, what time is it? It's 8:10. She's like, no, it's 8 o'clock. He's like, it's 8:10. I left. So she gets heckled by the comedian guy because she's on her phone texting, and then they end up yelling like, take a hike or something like that.
10 minutes is a bit ridiculous. Give her a little more
He's trying to teach her a lesson, though.
You don't need to teach anybody a lesson.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he knew that doing that to her at a comedy club would be the worst possible place because he knew I think he planned this.
And got the front row
seat. Being on the phone. I mean, I'm a comic, and when you do, I usually don't call people out unless it's really bad, but I have seen comics destroy people for doing that. Like,
I get nervous.
Cry and leave.
I get nervous going to comedy shows sometimes that they're going to call me out.
Never
for
sit in the front.
Never.
That I won't
hide in the back.
I agree with the whole taking the good with the bad to a certain extent. I think that when you're really into somebody, you have to work on it. Right. I know I'm personally always late, and at the beginning of relationships, I don't care. But once I start really liking somebody, I'm like, okay, I'm going to make an effort to be earlier. And then they start to realize I'm always late, so they start lying to me about what time. They'll be like, oh, be there at 6:30, and they show up at 7. So I'm like, what? But I do make an effort, and I think you can't just accept people, for their flaws, or you can't just be, content with your flaw. You got to be able to fix it for your partner.
And compromise.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So I love, one of my favorite lines of the show is when they're all in the break room discussing everything because Danny's so mad and Mindy's mad at him because she got kicked out, and so she wants to teach him a lesson. But then Tamara says, she's like, you're on CPT time. She's
Color people time.
Color people time. She's like, no, caramel princess time. Everybody should wait on you. You look good. And Mindy's like, wait, tell me more about this, because of course Mindy would be
it's a good excuse.
So interested in it. Yeah.
She needs to get all the excuses, like she has them in a folder, and just will use them whichever way she can.
I have EP time, Ethiopian people time, and that's worse than color people time. They're like 3 hours late. Like their weddings, if it starts at 6, they'll show up at 9.
I think it's really just like women time. To be honest, like all across
in
the board.
Ethiopia, it's
I hope no guys
women and men. Yeah, it's everybody's late.
Well, they should just set their clocks back all the time.
Exactly, right?
Then everyone will be on time, which is what we see Mindy do to Danny. She sets his little digital clock back, but like we said earlier, she sees him in the morning. He somehow runs and makes it on time because he is promised he is never going to be late because Danny's so stubborn and can't be wrong about anything, obviously. But then, so he does that. What does he do? He's doing his like hand signals to whatever.
Guns.
Oh yeah, because earlier I forgot to mention Dr. Fishman in the beginning of the episode said that she wanted him to take a mental health class because he was so upset, from the previous episode when he knew that Mindy had kissed someone. He's like, I'm fine. So there he is, like doing fake like finger guns to everybody, and he turns around and it's her. So he has to go to the class. Of course, Brendan Delorier, the midwife, is the teacher of it because he's
everywhere.
Like,
he's God. He's everywhere.
He is everywhere, but I like when he pops up into random episodes because he's like a douche, but he's funny about it at the same time.
I love the reoccurring roles that they have on the show. It's like his character and the lawyer that we don't even know what type of law he practices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about him already.
Yeah.
The lawyer. Oh, yeah, we need to see him again soon.
I'm sure he'll be back. She'll do something.
For sure. But, yeah, so he takes this class where Morgan is, and another, like I said, I liked Tamara's one-liner, and then I liked his tonight, where he says, he's like, hi, my female boss is in love with me, and I'm obsessed with cookies. I'm Morgan. he just has the best little parts, I feel like, in this show.
Yeah, it's like hilarious. He just came there. I don't think he was sent there by any means. He was just there for moral support.
Right. He's just there to make friends. Yeah.
That's what he's best at. But so
amazing.
Danny, I think, was, of course, he's pissed that he has to go to this class. He's like, this is ridiculous. Not expecting to get anything from it, of course, especially from Brendan. But then we see a vulnerable moment with him, which never happens with Danny. And, they're talking about, they're like, you made such a big deal out of her being late. And the whole time I'm thinking, no, he's just upset because she's late. I get upset. I mean, not upset, but, if someone's, crazy late all the time, then that's annoying. So I'm like, no, that's just what it is. I wasn't expecting to see this, but then he ends up coming out, whenever he was little. He was waiting for his dad at the movies. His dad never showed up. So he kind of has a few, abandonment issues with that.
Daddy issues for sure. That was something I did not expect for sure, but it was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, and it's kind of like he's acting a certain way, but he doesn't realize why. So it's really good that he did go to the class to kind of
I think he's really growing up, guys. Yeah. Finally,
Mindy surprisingly making him more serious, even though he's a serious guy and she's very happy-go-lucky. I feel like she's bringing out those deeper issues, but in a good way, to make him realize, these are things that have happened in my life that I need to kind of deal with.
I feel like differences in couples do that.
So. I really think that there's, a good yin and yang between them, because they're opposites, and that's why we thought most audiences thought that it really wasn't going to work. But it seems to be working, and I think that they're portraying, a good, healthy relationship with two people that are very different on TV, which is awesome.
Right.
I think couples that are complete opposites or just opposites in general can work if there's compromise and that common interest to make it work and for it to last long term.
Right.
I think they have that in common, and because they're so different that I was like, ooh, is this gonna last? I was a little nervous, but they're actually making an active effort to make it work.
They're perfect.
It's like relationship therapy for America.
The Mindy Project.
Well, that is the problem with America. Because we're always so quick to give up. We're like, we don't like that they were 10 minutes late. This is not going to work. Let's just divorce.
Right.
One of the things that Will Smith said that I love, he did an interview with Oprah years ago, and she was like, oh, how do you make your marriage last? You're one of the celebrity couples that have lasted a really long time. And he's like, well, we both went into it thinking that divorce was not an option. And I thought that was really beautiful because majority of Americans go into it if this doesn't work out, we can get a divorce.
Yeah, that's so true.
It's all about the mindset.
For sure.
Damn, I just went Oprah on y'all.
Yeah.
We just got serious ourselves. I love it. So while we see Danny at the mental health class, Mindy is doing him a favor and taking his mom and her friend to do all their errands, so to get their hair done, which I loved Mindy's hair after she got it done. It was everything about the 80s, 90s. That was amazing.
But Danny wanted her to do that so she sees what it's like when people are on their own time, when they're always late, when they're not considerate of other people's, times and the things they have to do.
Right.
So it's definitely, he was another way of him teaching her a lesson.
Yeah, and I think that he also, that thing with his father happened, but he probably his whole life too dealt with that with his mother, and it drove him insane, and he does not want Mindy to be his mother.
Yeah. And I mean, it worked, obviously. She got super frustrated because she had a friend, and I feel like everyone's been in that situation too, where, you're doing a favor for a friend and something happens and then they don't want to do it anymore and it's awkward. So she had to she was going to get the doctor to stay later so that Danny's mom could still get her mammogram, and then she turns around and Danny's mom doesn't even want to get her mammogram anymore. And, it teaches her, I think, a good lesson to be actually think about other people's time and to realize like this is super annoying when I do it all the time. Obviously you can't help it, but you know they definitely took her time. Her Danny's mom and her friend Dot,
and then they had to go to the salon, and then they had to do this and this. Like,
but I thought they were so cute whenever they walked out in the same shirts. She's like, "Will you take a picture and then email it and print it out to me?"
That totally reminded me of my mom and her friends.
Yeah.
Whenever they want to go to the mall, I just want to kill myself. I'm just like, oh my god, get me out of here right now.
When my mom, which I wonder if like our kids will think of us that way, or if our parents think of us that way with our friends. Because when my mom gets with her friends, I love it because they're so funny. But I'm also like, y'all are freaks. Yeah, they do the weirdest stuff, but it's amazing.
Well, I don't mean to be a downer here, but am I the only one that the mammogram? I was like, oh no, is Mindy going dark? Like.
I didn't even think that.
Are they going to find something? Like, why did they throw that into the errands? I'm probably just being overzealous, but I was like, oh no, they're going to find something. Like, what? Like, why out of all the errands they could run would they put a mammogram in there?
I didn't think of that. I thought it was just, you know, like the typical, you know, errands that you gotta do.
Appointment too.
Yeah, so like that is a good message to send. Like, it's just a normal thing that all women should be doing every year.
It's probably because we just came from October. We just finished up October Breast Cancer Month. I think that was like a tie into that, but you know, the World Series threw that off.
Right. Yeah, and that would be pretty heavy.
I think a little too heavy for a half
That's
hour.
what I'm saying. I didn't even go there because I knew for a rom-com, I'm like, they're not touching that.
Ooh, no, like maybe they could. No, I didn't think that. I thought it was, you know, just like the typical errand, but that's for sure a good point. And now I'm kind of worried.
Could have been a dentist. I mean, you know.
Yeah. But I think, you know, he's stressed about, you know, like, these are important things. She won't go to it unless we make her. And, you know, just like we see, she didn't want to go to it almost anyway. But, you know, it kind of ends with them both apologizing to one another on the stoop in Staten Island. He's like, I like you on a Staten Island stoop.
I'd rather
die. The hair that reminds him of his aunt.
Yeah. I feel like that's Danny's dream, is to one day move back to Staten Island and have a wife like that.
And I could see that being such a like them getting like almost to the altar and then her being like, wait, no, I cannot live in Staten Island.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
True that. Well, that being said, let's get into some predictions.
Predictions.
Well, okay, so like, do you have a prediction?
Well, I need to think about it for a second. I feel like we were gone for a few weeks, and now I'm like, wait, where were we, and what is happening? What do you guys?
I have a prediction.
Okay.
What?
I'm just like a great writer, and I think that they're gonna end up introducing a new love interest. From
Entertainment Weekly predicted this for you. That
why do you predict this? I mean, Beyonce, why do you predict this?
Thank you.
I'm so sorry.
I completely blanked on her name.
Julia Stiles.
Julia Stiles from Save the Last Dance is going to be a new love interest for, I don't know if it's out, so I don't really.
It is. I looked it up when you said it.
Okay.
Entertainment Weekly said that she's going to be on the show to be his new love interest.
Peter's love interest.
Do we know if she's going to be recurring, or we just know?
I'm sure. I mean, she has to be.
Yeah, she has to be. If they have a name like that, then
yeah. She had her own weird.
I mean, I feel like I predicted it before Entertainment Weekly, but
that she would be the person.
Specifically Julia Stiles.
So Abby's not going to last past this next episode.
That's not nice. But I mean, like, she seems awesome.
Maybe he'll play the field for a little bit.
I just don't think they're compatible, though. She seems like she's a great girl, but I don't see her with Peter. Peter is just...
He's too superficial.
I don't think he can handle substance. And she's a smart girl.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I think she seems maybe a touch too serious for him.
Yes.
Even though I thought, what's her face? Lauren was, you know, too serious. But she wasn't serious, like, personality-wise. She just had, like, real serious stuff going on in her life. Where this chick, you know, she has a good career and is definitely a smarter girl, but she also just seems to be, like, a more serious person as well. Not just, like,
I was looking through Instagram and I saw pictures of Lauren. They were taping new episodes. I was like, damn, thought we were past that.
She's coming back.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how they're going to tie her back into it, but I'm just like, okay, let's get
We didn't see Jeremy at all this episode, by the way. Where was he?
Maybe him and
With
Lauren. Will be
Maybe
back
with
next
Lauren.
week. Yeah.
Well, I'd rather them. Like, I feel like Peter has taken a step up from Lauren.
Yeah.
That this Abby chick is a step up for him. Definitely more compatible. But, you know, Julia Stiles is the next level.
Yeah, but you know what? We were all right because we predicted that they would introduce new love interests for him. It was like, you know, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we're like way ahead of Entertainment Weekly. Okay.
I think they watched this and then they
recorded it. Yes.
Yeah.
High five. You get me.
I love it. I love it. Okay, well, I guess that's it for today. Where can everybody find y'all on Instagram? On social media?
On Instagram and Twitter, you can find me at SamD43 and online at SamDavidsonEntertainment.com.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sterling Cates.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Imani Fresh, and also you can find me anywhere Beyonce related. Beehive.
She's there. There you go. And y'all can find me on Twitter and Instagram at April Whisenhant. We'll see y'all next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.